what's up, party people? Welcome to episode number 11. Now in HD, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube. If you're just listening, you're hearing me the same. There's no HD for sound. Although there is shitty sound, I guess, so. So cheers to you, and not in a weird neckbeardy British way, even though I do kind of have a... I look a little bit neckbeardy. But I'm not. So says me. Take my word for it. So yeah, this episode is... I think it's a little bit shorter than my previous ones. Because, there's no real other way to put it. We go a little off the rails on this one. I decided to get lit up, as the kids say. Got a little drunk, a little high. Had some beer, smoked up, and some rum. I've always been a bit of a rum guy for some reason. Because I'm a pirate, apparently. But whatever. It's good. Plus, also, one thing that you may learn about me is I don't like doing something that just because everybody else likes to do it. You know what I mean? Oh man, my nose is a little stuffy. Ugh. I might sneeze here. Yep. Oh, fuck. Look, if you don't like hearing bodily functions on your podcast, well, you're just gonna have to deal with it. But anyway. So yeah, like I was saying, I get pretty faded this episode and lose track of what I'm talking about, which is fine. And instead of stumbling over my words, I just decided to go ahead and end it early-ish. And I'm still hungover from that too. That was yesterday, and I'm also kind of doing everything a little last minute, but. Podcast. I actually started there for a second. Or should I say potcast? Ooh, see what I did there? Hold on, let me get another hit of that. Now, for those of you who have not been wondering, because I know you haven't, because you're not listening. You don't exist yet. Hold on, let me air out some of this shit. Oh yeah, make that closet smell nice and good. This is the last of my blunt 3-pack. I bought the Marley Naturals. I don't know if I should be showing that, but I'm not getting monetized right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Which apparently is Bob Marley's family's brand. So that's cool, right? Also expected. And as inscribed on the inside of the tin, herb is the unification of mankind. So saith the late, great Bob Marley. Now, the first thing we gotta do is we gotta address this sign, because it is not episode 10. It is actually episode 11. Which it will be in a few seconds here. Number 11. As in, not just one winner, but two winners. Me and you. Now, for those of you watching on YouTube, you may notice a few different things going on here. I finally got myself some good video capture software, because the one that I was using before, it just wasn't really recording to the best of my device's abilities, which, I wasn't really sure what was going on at first, because I remember, I bought this camera and it says that it shoots at, or it can capture up to 60 frames per second, which, for those of you who aren't VFX literate, the standard film is shot in 24 frames per second. So 60 is a lot. And it's also pretty good because you can use that to do like slow-mo and stuff like that. But anyways, here we are, episode 11. As I was going to say, the software that I'm using now can actually take full effect of, my camera's functionalities. The only thing, and it's going to show up better on YouTube, which is good for my YouTube channel that I'm coming out with that I told you about earlier. Because I tried doing a few videos so far. And the resolution just isn't there, so I'm trying to show what I'm doing. Oh, they're really heating up my throat. Here we go. Fucking amateur. But shit would come out blurry when I'm trying to show detail because it's a hobby-oriented thing. Show thing. Fuck. And it doesn't really work if you can't really see what you're trying to show, or it doesn't show up right. Anyway. What else have I been doing? I'm kind of doing this show really last minute, or last day, I should say, because, I got busy. Well, towards the beginning of the week, we were in, not just locked, well, some of the lockdown stuff here in California is starting to lift. The, COVID lockdown. However, due to the protests in Hollywood and West LA, we've been under curfew for a while. Nightly curfews. And those have been lifted recently as well. Today's what day is today? Tonight's actually it's the morning now, but it was 7th of June, which is Sunday. So I think the curfews went back up like 3 days ago or something along those lines. Which is good for me because it means that I can, go out and do, all the deliveries and all that shit and start working again. Which technically I could have, since I do I deal with food and beverage. I count as an essential worker, but I mean, I've already told you guys on the podcast before, on a previous episode, that I've been followed around by the cops and stuff, because I'm just a personal vehicle roaming around the streets in the middle of the night, and this mostly happened the first few weeks of COVID lockdown that I was working. Not so much recently, but now it's a different thing. So I didn't need that heat while I was working, so I wasn't working much. Just like a little bit before curfews. But now it's kind of back to normal. Although I'm getting more money bonuses too. I assume that's because of I don't know, just more things going on. I don't know. It's all incentive stuff. Which, whatever. If they want to give me more money, that's fine with me. God damn, I really on these, don't I? I hope you guys like what's going on. Because I'm just off the top, you know? I'm also noticing that with this webcam, I'm definitely getting the full visual range going on here. Yeah, this is way better resolution. It's like in the thousands, whatever that is. I was, like I said, I worked in VFX, but I was an artist, not more of an artist than a technical person. I used the tools, I didn't make them. But anyways, I did want to... Oh yeah, I was going to say that whenever I went out today, I thought that a lot of the protests and stuff would be... I'm not sick. It's this shit. I chose this for myself. Okay, a little better now. But yeah, I thought the protest would be done, or the protest would be done by now. But yeah, I went out there today to start off work, and the first pickup I had was fucking Popeyes right in the middle of Hollywood Boulevard. So I finally got to see, you know, the marches firsthand. Honked a few times, because, I mean, I was trying to make money. But that was the only bad spot. And when I say bad, I don't mean ideologically. I just mean the place I was going to was just right in the middle of, you know, everything. But I got lucky, I guess. Let's see. Speaking of protests, I did say that we were going to try and get a little more serious with this one. Where are we at? Wow, only 10 minutes. Damn. A little more serious. You know, I did talk a little bit about, you know, some of the kind of parallels with law enforcement and what I'm on a hold from doing in my own other side job of security. And just kind of some of the things that, you know, go on in those worlds, some of the mindsets. Which is interesting, because I mean, yeah, I work in security, but I distinctly feel, or strongly feel, that I could never, you know, work in law enforcement. Just because of the way things are run, I guess, and the mentality that you're surrounded with. Because, shit, did I already talk about this? I was gonna say something about police training, but yeah, that's kind of exhausted. But there is another point that I wanted to make. One of the problems that I recently kind of figured out, because I'm the smartest man alive. No, I'm just kidding. But figured out for myself, as you could say, or deduced, inferred, that one of the problems that, you know, law enforcement has with their position, I don't know if you guys have heard the concept of like a super job, where this is something that's happening, you know, more and more, where basically what a company will do is try and have one person doing the work of like multiple people that they wouldn't otherwise be able to do. like a full lateral integration of their job with the company, right? Point being is that the biggest one of the biggest problems that we have with our law enforcement system as it stands today is that they are doing they are either doing a lot of duties or dealing with the fall of various other societal effects that they shouldn't be dealing with. For example, police can't solve things like poverty or lack of education or some other things, mental health issues. But all too often, the police are expected to handle these sorts of things. These are things that they're not equipped to deal with, and well, job-wise, they're basically just pissing in the wind. It's not the answer isn't their presence, because their presence doesn't solve the root of a societal problem. It just kind of tries to submit it, but it's still there. The problem still just keeps coming back. So yeah, that's just kind of like my thought on that. I figured that's kind of an easy way for people to understand, what's going on, I guess, in like their conscious and their subconscious would be the best way for me to put it. I don't know. I'm smoking, man. I'm high already. And drinking some of this. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Pizza Port brand. They are, I want to say, local. Well, in California. I'm not sure where Carlsbad is. And this is the California Honey. It's a nice honey blonde ale, and I like it. But back to the point, which I already forgot. What the fuck were we talking about? Police. Super jobs. It's gone. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out later, but I highly doubt it. Well, I guess I will say this. One of the big bad effects of the job of a police officer basically being equated to the same effects as one of these super jobs is that, in those normal sort of like an office super job, lack of performance only results, lack of performance only results in someone losing money. Whereas the same situation with a police officer in a police department can result in the lack of a person's life, which is ultimately more important. Yeah. Now, another interesting thing, to me anyway, I don't know about to you guys, but this is gonna be a little video game review. I started playing Far Cry 5 recently, which I think it came out like a couple years ago, or like a year ago or something like that. But in this one, you being the hero goes up against a extreme religious cult. in the middle of Montana. And their whole thing is about like, oh, we're gonna save mankind and get them to heaven, but they do that through mind control and torture and like drugs and mental reprogramming and stuff like that. And I just thought it was interesting about how, or not so much interesting, but ironic that I was playing this game where, yeah, like I said, the cult that you fight against, they use well, more direct methods of like I said, mental reprogramming, either through torture or drugs. But in a way, it could be. I can't fucking talk this morning. It's the same as it is in real life, but more stretched out over time, and basically trying to make fuck. You know what? Forget it. Let me start over. I've been playing Far Cry 5 all week. You are a deputy. You're in the middle of Montana, and you go up against who suddenly just takes over the whole county that you're in. And the ending, I beat it earlier today. The ending's actually very not what I expected it to be. As far as the type of game that it is, it's a open world FPS, just first person shooter. And yeah, basically you pretty much have the freedom to do whatever you want to try and take your home back. What? It was fun. I might even have to do the New Game Plus playthrough just to do it all again. Anyway, I think that's it for now. Later. So what else is going on? Things are starting to open back up again, finally. Barbershop, my usual haircut place is finally open again, so hopefully the next time you see me, I'll go from this scruffy looking mop to, nice and clean. God damn, my nose is stuffed up, but I don't want to say butt all the time. I guess I'm a butt man. It's almost as bad as when I say all the time, which I do. It's gonna be the but podcast eventually. Also, like I was saying, I'm finally HD here, which is or at least a better resolution. I don't know. I don't know. It looks pretty HD compared to what it used to be. So that's good, which means this episode's going to be coming out pretty late in the morning, or in the following morning here, because I gotta redo my whole episode template and all that stuff. But that's a good thing. Those are good problems to have, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. So I'll leave you for now. See you guys next week.